Alright guys, let's be honest right now. Edgar Wright is just a straight up genius. There's absolutely no way around it. Holy crap, he knows his way behind a camera. And luckily enough, I know my way in front of a screen. I'm Jack Fitzpatrick and this is my review of Baby Driver. So Baby Driver is one of those movies that made me just sit there in like utter amazement. It's one of those movies that if you're anything like me, you just know from the start that you're gonna love it. Early on, I just knew that this was something that I'm gonna be watching again sometime years later down the road for a 4th, 5th, 20th time. Because honestly, I think that Baby Driver is worthy of being considered a classic. Literally from the very first shot, I was right in. The perfect music cues, the silly but legitimate badassery of the people on screen, and the instant clever uses of framing and camera work just had me. It's clear from scene 1 that this is a film lover's haven. So Baby Driver follows this young guy named Baby, who holds the reputation of being that guy, the classic getaway driver, the best of the best. And we follow along with this protagonist as he finishes up his debts in crime and completes what he hopes will be his last few heists as a getaway driver. Of course though, there are more complications that ensue and a hell of a lot more to, get an emotional story out of it. But that's a little more spoilery, so I'll just leave it there for now. Baby, like many of the characters, go along with this theme of obtaining the classic crime movie reputations, as does the film itself take strong inspiration. I definitely call Baby Driver an homage to action movies, but that would really be an understatement, because you get your long practical car chases, you get your romanticized love story, your 50s style diners, 80s styles music, and all of the types of characters that you'd expect from a film like this, such as the reluctant criminal with a heart of gold, the heartless and powerful crime lord holding our hero down with threats, the love interest with simplistic dreams, and of course the loose cannon who springs up problems among the group. But though being inspired by other films, Baby Driver still holds up in terms of strong creative intentions and delivers on originality. Like all Edgar Wright films, it's familiar, but it's also very new. He tells this told story in his own way.
No, I have not ever fired my gun up in the air and gone, ah.
And so never fear, there is no shortage of his modern flair, made up of quick-paced transitions and creative shots. Wright is as innovative as ever here. Speaking of the classic character feel, I have to talk about Baby himself, because I love me a reluctant bad guy. Baby himself, though, isn't really that bad, despite being part of the crimes that are committed throughout. To the core, Baby is well-intentioned. He doesn't want people to get hurt, and all he wants is a way out of this life. From the very beginning, it's clear that he doesn't belong in this type of world. He's quiet and reserved, where those around him are eccentric and egotistical. He's not violent, whereas those around him are willing to kill those who stand in their way. And Baby is different in other ways too. Like, for one, he's much younger than everyone else, and secondly, he's clearly a very serious person, taking up jobs professionally, all while not actually wanting to be there in the first place. Again, while everyone else around him chooses to be there. And Ansel Elgort, that weirdly named beautiful bastard, just nails it. Now, after The Fault in Our Stars, there were a few ways Elgort could have gone. 1, he could have just dropped off the face of the earth, never to be heard from or seen again. 2, he could have continued exclusively being in the same types of movies. Or best of all, option 3, he could have evolved and expanded his filmography by being in something completely different and showcase what he's really capable of. Fortunately, he went with that third option, and after seeing these two different sides of him, I can only look forward to what's to come. In this, he was just so cool, and after walking out of the film, I felt like doing the things that he did. His cool little dance moves that he just kind of effortlessly chucked on screen, the way he rocks those sunglasses, and of course his expertise in driving, are all aspects of the character that made me sort of want to be him. Like many would have felt after watching Star Wars and wanting to be Han Solo, I kind of wanted to be Baby. Shut up, you have a crush on him. Speaking of Elgort though, everyone in the movie strongly suited their roles and I loved it. Jamie Foxx is so freaking hateable, but in the perfect way. Jon Hamm pretty much catapulted charisma onto the screen, and Lily James played a well-fitting love interest who made me care. But again, I just have to bring this right back to Edgar Wright. If there was ever a director who would be recognized by even just a scene of a movie of theirs, it's Edgar Wright. Baby Driver is rhythmic, stylistic, and organically calculated. There is perfection in its pacing and storytelling. It's thematically rich, and there is also just so much heart and cleverness put into it. This is clearly the type of movie where you will notice more and more the more you watch and think about it. Like all Wright's films, this is definitely one worth watching numerous times. Along with the timing of everything comes a whole lot of unavoidably noticeable music that shines and blares right on through. Honestly, this movie is basically half a musical in a way, and I'm absolutely in love with how the scenes are edited to the beat. It really makes this movie what it is. this. But really what I was most impressed with in this movie were of course the fantastic car chases and the stunt work involved. Practical effects come in bundles here and the action is explosive. Shootouts feel critical but also very fun. Cars had real weight to them throughout chases and were clearly not being driven by animated Vin Diesels and Dwayne Johnsons. Legitimate adrenaline was heavily provided throughout. Despite the bonkers take and the silliness of the entire thing, I was surprised that at times I would actually be unsure of certain characters' safety. There were some surprisingly tense moments and I appreciated the hell out of it. But it wasn't all fast cars and violence. Baby Driver contained more heart and drama than I expected. This isn't just light-hearted fluff throughout, there's some emotional weight here, some realness among the silliness, some honesty behind the craziness. We see this as we learn more and more about Baby throughout, and the characters, as cartoony as they are, truly develop as the film goes on. This movie has you caring a hell of a lot for a seemingly dumb little movie where car chases are the primary focus. And that's because, well, car chases aren't the primary focus. Baby Driver isn't about the driving, it's about the Baby Driver. Masterful in its timing and editing, extremely clever and very fun, Baby Driver hits its mark in every way. This is Edgar Wright's best film. I know, big claim right there, but I believe it. Baby Driver is just so good that it's going straight into my top 10 movies of the year. And maybe it's too recent to say for sure, but I think it makes it into my top 10 ever. Baby Driver is just so amazing, and if you haven't, man, you should see it.
Was he slow? No. Good kid. Devil behind the wheel. Was he slow?